bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. It's been a real rough morning. We got no Conrad. We got a buzz in our ear. Nobody watched the goddamn heads-up match yesterday. Actually, that's not even entirely true. Brent told me that the number he told me their concurrents are for this show is astonishing.
Like good numbers?
Like massive numbers.
Oh, shit.
Hey.
But I don't believe it. There wasn't a single tweet. There wasn't a single... my mentions are
dry.
Completely void.
Doesn't need a tweet, man. It just promotes itself.
No.
This was not planned, by the way, the white hoodie people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Guapo's got one on, too.
Did you really?
Berkey missed a memo.
Wow.
He's just in his...
On
he's in his dark
in his villain
black
era,
t-shirt era, yeah.
Today's Thursday, isn't it?
You look kind of like, you know, like you're ready to fuck some shit up, though.
Yeah, black is good on you.
Yeah, I think it is.
On Thursdays, we were
Throwing
white.
off Tyson vibes.
I'm a defector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I woke
New
up on the
World
woke up on the wrong side of the bed, to say the least. We're watching Newt. This is a bit of an aside. We're watching Newt, Jamie Kerstetter's dog, and he's still intact, if you will. Man's got his balls. I wake up this morning, and as you guys know, Pip was meant to get fixed this week.
Oh, no.
But she didn't.
Oh, no.
She didn't because she had to get more tests done. I wake up this morning.
Yada. We got some puppies that we need to get rid of. Sorry, go ahead.
It might happen.
You're sorry.
She's clearly starting her second heat.
I'm sorry.
Did you catch him like mid-thrust?
No. There's been no humping yet, thank goodness, at least as best I can tell. But when dogs go into heat, there are some physical changes that take place. And, you know, it's exactly what you would think. Her nipples are swollen. Her vagina's dragging on the floor. Like, it's just abundantly clear that she's ready to be mounted. So
I
now I
haven't
have
seen
to...
anything. There's just been a lot of sniffing.
A lot of sniffing.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for it to be ripe, you know?
Jesus Christ.
Newt is ready to sniff.
So now I have to separate them and worry about my 1-year-old dog not having fucking puppies. Although they make great, beautiful puppies. Mexican street
He's
dog.
basically like an angsty teen.
Yeah,
You know
pretty
what?
much.
Bolt would be a good dad.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, I think Bolt would be a great dad.
No, he wouldn't. And the other thing is,
Bolt
like,
would be a great
I
dad.
don't know.
Newt would be the stud, and Bolt would be, you know.
Oh, Bolt. Yeah. You're right. I was only thinking Newt.
I think Bolt is so loving. He
Right.
would,
No,
yeah.
you're right. Bolt would be a better dad than Pip would be mom.
Right.
I think.
Oh, wow. You think Pip would be negligent?
No. But I think Bolt would like smother the puppies. You know, just he would just like
Too
lay
much
down.
love.
Yeah, he would just like lay down in the middle of a bed and just let them like all pile on
Pip
him.
would
Right.
see goodbye, Bolt. I'm going to see Newt. I thought that guy was gone.
Yeah, Bolt would make a good stepdaddy. I don't.
He's the fun uncle, if you
Bolt's
will.
not he's not the stepdad. He's the dad that stepped up.
That's right. That's right. You know, insta
All
daddy.
3 legs.
Insta daddy. Just add water. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know when dogs are meant to have their pups, their litters. I mean, obviously they're capable of it. I think her first heat was at like 8 months or something like that. But it would strike me as very not great if she were to get pregnant now, because she's so rambunctious. Like, I couldn't imagine her carrying a litter to term while she is just royal rumbling in the backyard with Bolt.
I feel like that changes though. Like dogs, she's not the only.
Mature.
I'm saying,
No, like
you're a kid, you grow
biology-wise,
up.
Yeah,
You know?
real coming of age story.
Look, this all happened fast. It only took her a year. I'm on year 25, man.
Yeah, we know.
All right.
We're going through the growing pains.
You're
But
at 43.
Hey man,
When have you
I'm
grown
fucking
up?
grown. I wish I weren't. I
Grow up.
I saw a movie scene. This is how I watch movies now via Instagram Reels. Like, you don't ever actually watch a full movie. You catch a 3-minute scene on Reels, and you know, it just kind of hits. And it was I can't remember the actor. He's
really hit. Really
oh, it doesn't. I don't know my actors all that well. But he's older. He's like in his 60s or 70s or whatever, and he's talking to somebody much younger, and he goes, I don't feel a day over 19. I don't think one bit of myself has ever acknowledged that I grew one day over 19. But one day I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I said, "You're not 19 anymore." He goes, "It's the greatest trick that people have ever pulled is adulthood. Like, no one signs up for it.
Right.
Nobody wants to do it. Nobody actually believes themselves to be an adult.
Right.
You're just viewed by the rest of the world by this standard of like, and when you put it in that context, and then you think about like what's happening in the world around us, where you have an evil genius out there just collecting everyone's data, and you have the orange man's reign of terror where he's gonna play fucking Risk with the entire game board that is the globe.
The Riviera of the Middle East.
Yeah, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago, is that what he called it? Or
Called it the Riviera of the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't fucking know, man. I can't get into it.
He said
Everyone-
no troops will be involved, so we'll see about that.
Everyone thinks
That'd be
that
great.
everyone grows up. Everyone knows that they haven't.
Right.
Well,
Well, you're still young. See, Landon. Burke, have you been to any concerts lately?
no.
Okay. Well, if you ever go,
I got asked.
If you ever go to like a concert of like, say, I don't know, like Creed,
Sure.
a Creed concert, or,
Hell yeah, brother.
or
Make
maybe
it-
a concert of
Make it a resurgence, by the way.
They are.
For the last 5 weeks, listen to this. This is insane. For the last 5 weeks, they have been on the top of the charts
amazing,
for digital downloads
amazing.
of alternative music.
Creed might be a bad example because I think the young folk,
It's
Creed is so
couple
bad.
they love them.
Yeah.
They love them. But like,
Meme band.
like I went to last year I go to a Dave Matthews Band concert
yeah.
and I'm looking around and I'm like, fuck, there's a lot of old people here.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah. So am I. Like
they're all
it's
your
a
age.
very very realization that you have of like, yeah, you're not 25 anymore.
Yeah, concerts were never.
You're 25 to me.
They're never your
too.
thing.
They were never really my
I mean,
thing.
you don't mind them, but
I was
you're
an
not-
old soul to begin with,
Yeah.
Brian. Like,
Yeah.
I see all you young idiots having a good time,
Mhm.
jumping up and down.
Well, you don't drink or do drugs, and that's
Right, yeah.
the
They
main
had a
thing you do when
reunion
you go
tour?
to a concert.
Creed had a reunion tour.
I was unaware of the reunion tour,
How long
although
ago was this?
everybody did try to get me to go to see them on New Year's Eve in Vegas, so maybe that was a part of it.
What's happening with Creed's music?
What is happening with Creed's music? This is the other thing I never understood. If I'm not mistaken, Scott Staff or maybe Creed as a
Strap.
whole. Was it Strap?
I think it's Strap.
Scott Strap? Okay.
Stap.
Might be Stapp, yeah.
Yeah.
Put them both together. Boy, this picture would have been great for the fucking thumbnail. Thanks, Brent. We're only a day too late. Christ almighty.
This is the picture of you with the belt.
I thought that they were like particularly religious. Like I thought there were
I
religious
think they
undertones.
are. They are.
Definitely was
Yeah,
like.
in my own prison, he says "goddamn" like
Does he?
18 times.
He's wrestling with his
Should have
faith.
been dead on a Sunday morning, banging my head. That's not when he says "goddamn."
No, it's not. But I was waiting
it's
for
that
it.
song.
It never came.
But it's
is
in
their
there
song.
somewhere.
It's
Trust us.
that song. Yeah.
I was like, that's a really good example of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, wow.
No, I think they. Yeah. I mean, I'm
God
pretty
is in
sure they're
session.
like Christians. It's not like Christian rock, but it's like Christian rock adjacent.
Did I tell you guys that he threw up on my bar?
Many
Wait,
years
wait,
ago.
wait.
My own
Lead singer Creed.
Say this again.
Lead singer Creed threw up on my bar.
Really?
Yeah, I was at the Venetian and there was the Billboard Awards.
He got a little too drunk.
Got a little too drunk.
Mm.
Mucha cerveza.
Did you escort him out?
No, I just remember cleaning up puke. I
You should have like
bar backing at the
should
time.
have put some of that into a jar, sold it on eBay. Someone would have
No.
bought
I
it.
think the music video of I think it's My Own Prison is like, it's just him. Like, isn't he on like a boat?
Yeah,
It's like raining.
he's in his own
Oh
prison.
no, that's it's not My Own Prison. It's either My Sacrifice or
I think
with
it's My
Arms Wide Open.
Sacrifice. I think it's My Sacrifice.
And there's a drinking game.
Arms wide open. He's on like the mountain with his arms. wide open.
Yeah. I think it's My Sacrifice, but there's a drinking game attached to it where I can't remember what there's an animation that he does.
It's
like,
something with his hand.
Yeah. He either
He goes like this or something.
He either does this or he does like this. It's something with his hand, but every time he does it, you're supposed to drink, and he does it like 45 times.
I think it's like this.
in the
Like,
course.
it's like
I'm sure we can find out like very quickly.
That's the wrong one. Unlucky.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for stuff, man.
What is it? What's going on here?
This has to be with Arms Wide Open.
Yeah, but like, why is he like?
His arms are just wide open
Right.
the whole time.
What an amazing,
What?
amazing.
Well, the imagery, if you will.
Right.
Ay vey.
What? This used to be
Look at that
peak
technology.
music video content.
No, it wasn't. They were they were a joke band. That's the thing is like the bands that were joke bands in the early 2000s have come full circle now.
Nickelback?
Yeah, they've come full circle as legit bands that are kind of a meme.
Yeah.
Like
But, like,
Nickelback is back, baby.
Nickelback has been like good though. They're good. They have so. They made so. They're good.
They made
There we go.
bangers. I
They made-
low key always liked Nickelback, but Brent made fun of me so badly I had to hide it.
Yeah. No.
I had to like keep it to myself.
I always
And then
thought
he played this string of Nickelback songs where he goes, literally every song sounds alike, and it was
great.
just it was the same tone from start to finish. It was
Right.
like 30 minutes of Nickelback. You could not distinguish
Right.
one song from the next.
Creed's good, man.
They're all bangers.
Creed is bangers.
Yeah, they're bangers. I guess. I don't know, man. I could take a deep dive into alternative music for hours on hours.
Creed lore.
Don't tease me.
We play this game.
It was a good
Well, we don't actually play this game. Nobody will play it with me. But
You play by yourself.
when you win with 7 Deuce in Bobby's room, you get to choose the music on Alexa. And
Wow.
and there are a few people who will choose like 90s rock, 90s alternative, something like that. And if it's like a little later in the evening, I'll often challenge somebody. I've only had one person take me up on it, and of course it was Oaken, and he was angling, like shocker. He just refused to negotiate fair terms. But basically, I've offered, I'll pay $100 for every song and artist that a person can get, and then if they miss, I have the chance to steal for like 2.5x the stakes, something like that. Because you're gonna get a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
But
like I'm
you
giving a
don't-
lot up.
But you don't have to guess every time. Only when you
No,
guess.
you always have to guess.
Gotcha.
But every time they miss, I then have the freedom to steal. I think that in like the years that we've had this station play, I think there's like 2 songs that I haven't.
You're like weirdly good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hearing like just
Like
a couple.
we've actually like played
I
this
remember
game in
this.
the car, and
Yeah.
he's just like I consider myself pretty good. I know like a lot, but like the very
Down
obscure
with the
like
sickness.
Oh, was that one?
That was the
See,
sickness.
I was gonna see if
it's very
Disturbed.
good.
that
Yeah.
was good.
Right.
Like yeah, when I just like randomly pull the stabbing westward, what are you gonna do? It's like
Right.
you're in trouble. But there's a whole like wing of 90s like hardcore rock music that I've never heard a single song of. And what will happen is like one of them will bleed their way into the playlist every now and again, and I'll just sit there frozen.
Yeah.
It's like I've literally never even heard a note of this song before in my
Right.
entire life.
right.
You
know?
should try to find a music that would really piss people off. Like
I
play like
You have to remember that you have to create some level of harmony because you're here every single day with the majority of the same people. I used to do that. Like I would put on like gangster rap when I won with 7 Deuce. And like the old guys would get pissed and like sometimes it would drive action. But what I mostly noticed is that it just like created an annoying lull in the room where it's like even you don't want to listen to the gangster rap at this point.
Right.
You know,
You're like, it's supposed to be fun. Now everyone's miserable.
right? Like I thought we were making a game of this.
Yeah.
Where it was like, pick the music that will alienate half the room and make the other half happy.
Right. But
And the
you
next thing you know,
everybody.
yeah, the next thing you know, everybody's just annoyed.
Yeah. What's your gangster rap go-to?
NWA.
No, I'm huge.
Chronic?
Yeah, huge
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Dre fan.
Yeah.
My first
No, you
album.
like the Chronic.
Chronic was my first real album. I mean, I had, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em.
Wow. That's real gangster.
Real classic.
Real gangster.
DMX,
You get some DMX in there. Hey.
All right.
All right, we got a show to get to today.
That is the show. This is the show.
Welcome
We
to
are
the
the
show.
show. If you did not happen to catch it yesterday, I finally have gotten my first poker trophy.
Let's go.
I won the belt.
Let's go, Berkey.
I've dethroned Blaze.
You did it.
It makes kind of sense that
Look at
it's
him.
a belt.
There he is.
Like, I feel like you win a belt more than you win a trophy.
You've never been more happy in your life. And I think it's all because of the belt. You don't even care about the money.
Yeah, kind of true.
Yeah.
I think in that shot I was
Wow.
making fun of Blaze, actually.
It's a beautiful belt.
That is a beautiful belt. It's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It is not for the faint of heart.
You got plans for it?
No. I mean, I would have liked to have had it on the set here
Mm-hmm.
for today's show.
I'm
Get these
surprised
fucking
it's not wrapped around your shoulder.
these
for the
fucking
rest of-
GPI awards out of here. You know what I mean? We got a belt.
That's right.
I was gonna say it's gonna
Fucking
take
belt now.
longer to get the belt. Seems like.
Hell yeah, brother.
When
Who knows? I might not ever get
How
it.
did they not just give you the belt right then and there and say like you can take this home if you want?
Well, I'm not so sure that they knew that that this match was even going to happen. It seemed very impromptu at the time.
But there was a belt on set, as we just see it. We
Oh,
just
right,
saw.
but that's not my belt. I get a replica belt.
Why don't you get that one?
Well, they need it for the set, man.
So if you're gonna get a replica, why don't you get that one and then they get the replica belt?
Sure. Yeah, sure, maybe.
See,
I
look,
guess.
why you don't get?
Dude,
they don't
that
get to
thing
say
is
bring.
fucking huge.
It's
It
massive.
is.
They don't
It
get to say
is.
like bring that home with you. You know, like you can just like walk out if you want. Not like if you wanted to.
I'm not a small person. That is a
That-
big
that
That
goddamn
belt is almost as big as your chip stack.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's a lot of chips.
that's a lot of chips.
We did it. We won.
So yeah, I ended up winning 300,000 total over the 2 days. Day 2, I ended up winning 342,000, I think. So the lore behind that is I lost 27-3 on day 1, or 26-7, I think I lost on day 1 is what it was. So I won all that back. Plus, I paid Blaze 15,000 out of pocket to play me in
Amazing.
Hold'em
What an investment.
instead of PLO,
But he put it on his stack. He didn't.
I
pop
can't
and
it.
then
believe
he
you went
put
for
it. He put it in. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I put a poll out, kind of like asking who got the best of this, and it's very close. So right now the current results are me 28%, Blaze 32%, show results 29%, and then too close is 12. The long and short of this is that we were supposed to play half PLO, half Hold'em. We started with Hold'em, played for 3 hours, literally broke stone even. But Blaze was off to a massive start. He ran pretty well to begin with and just made a lot of hands. He was bluffing well. He was getting everything through. Up 170,000, give or take, after the first 90-minute set. And I guess that
You're talking about PLO day 1, yeah?
no, I'm talking about
Oh,
No
okay.
Limit Hold'em day 2. No, PLO we washed.
Okay.
He won like 14,000. So he's up like 170K after the first 90 minutes. And I guess like when we went on break, he went and found Brent and he was like, "Your boy's done. It's over. He can't come back from this." And it's like
This is the behind the scenes footage that we need.
of course. I didn't know about this. I found out like after the whole day was over. Brent told me laughing. And it's like, yeah, 170K seems like a lot, but it's 4 buy-ins at 200, 400. Like heads up's fucking swingy. And I kind of like, obviously I was annoyed that I was getting the bottom third of the deck, and this is just the nature of playing heads up, especially live. Like these little pockets of massively distorted distributions can happen, and they'll often like determine the winner. How you deal with those like stretches of 100 hands where you just like don't get shit is really going to be the difference maker in like what your bottom line is versus somebody. And I kind of like internally understood that I was getting the bad distribution, he was getting the good one. Whereas in PLO, I felt like I was getting run over because I don't really know necessarily what I was doing. But like watching it back, it was kind of the same thing. Like he had really good distribution, I had marginal at best, and it just played out to a draw. in Hold'em, he jumps out to 170K start, and there wasn't any part of me that was just like, oh fuck, man, this is over. Like I can't beat this guy. He's so good.
Yeah.
All this other stuff. So when I found out later after the show ended that he told Brent that, it really just like frames the mind of Blez. Like he's such a momentum player, and I think that he was enjoying beating me in my own game for a large sum, and it got him a little bit Hold'em drunk, So the next 90-minute set, he continues to just like steamroll, winning a lot of the small pot stuff like that. And I win 2 very big pots towards the end of the set. I can't recall what they were off the top of my head. I rewatched it yesterday. I think I made a flush on one where I like check jammed river. Anyway, we're dead even after the first 3 hours. He's up $300. They won 1 blind after being up 170K. And I could see it like as the 3-hour set was winding down and we were about to shift to PLO. I could see like in the glimmer of his eye, he wanted to keep playing Hold'em too. Because like the last hour or so where I actually was like back in it and we were playing a lot of big pots, it was like entertaining. There was a lot of gambling taking place. It wasn't like just c-bet fold, raise fold, take it, stuff like that. Like there was a lot of like this is I remember now. This is what set it off. So we draw for hands at the end of the 3-hour set. I pick 6, and on the 4th hand, he opens button. I call queen 10 off, and it comes jack 7 deuce rainbow. I check. He c-bets. I check raise. All of this is like pretty standard thus far. He 3-bets with king 3. No pair, no draw, no backdoor. Or maybe, king 8.
King 8.
Yeah. And I've just seen him do this shit too much. And I just know that he doesn't have it. But like playing 4-bet here with anything just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And we're kind of like at this awkward stack depth where if I play 4-bet, it's going to be like a third of my stack type of thing. And it just felt weird. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to float him out of position. And I'm just going to take this away later because I'm so sure he has nothing. So I call. Turn is like an offsuit 6. So now it's jack 7, 6 deuce. It might have brought like backdoor spades. I check, he checks back. And I was like, I just win. I just for sure auto win. River is like another brick, like maybe a 4. And Landon and I were watching his back yesterday. He goes, block is kind of nice here. And I was like, yeah, but I just like don't think I would play very much in the way of block because I don't think he ever plays queens or better this way. And I have like a lot of good jack X. Like I have like king jack, some ace jack, some 2-pair type of hands. The problem is like I don't know what calls. And so I was like, yeah, I don't think I play block here, but like block does make sense with some hands. But I probably just like size for a set. And he goes, like, what size is that? 3/4? And I was like, yeah, I mean, 3/4 makes a lot of sense. And then I bet 125% pot. And I go, I went with the set size. So obviously he like folds the king high, and I just windmill it in his face, and I could just see it at that moment. He was just like, we're gonna keep playing Hold'em.
Yeah.
I just kind of knew I had him. So another hand goes by. He goes, you can make me an offer to keep playing Hold'em, but it has to be a fair one. And I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to like think about it. It's like, well, he obviously has a win rate in PLO, and I think I have a win rate in Hold'em. So it can't just be like, oh, you think you're winning 5 big blinds per 100 in PLO? I'll give you 10. Because like actually that would have worked, but like it couldn't just be like, oh, you think you're losing 3 big blinds in Hold'em? I'll give you 5 to switch, because he's just making more in PLO anyway. Right. So I wouldn't be compensating enough. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna give him like way too generous of an offer, because if I'm taking the worst of this, I don't care. I just want to play Hold'em for the next 3 hours, and I think I can tilt him, and that's gonna be worth more. So I go, I'll give you 11.5, but that's my bottom line. Like, can't do any more. He goes, well, that was more than I expected. You mind if I ask someone? And I know he's going to ask Marchese. So I go, sure, go ahead. So he's texting him, and I go, Cheese will tell you that this is like way too generous. He's going to tell you to take it. He goes, how'd you know I was texting him? I was like, who the fuck else are you going to text? So he texts Cheese.
Is this all on camera, this whole conversation?
A little bit of it.
Just him like texting on his phone.
Yeah, just him texting on the phone.
Okay.
It was about to go on break. So I don't remember if it was at the table or if it was on break, but he goes, Cheese said no. And I go, no fucking way. Like, there's no way I'm paying you like 40 big blinds per 100
Right.
to switch games. Like, no way your win rate is that high in PLO and your loss rate is that high in Hold'em. Like, there's just no fucking way. I'm way overcompensating. So he's like milling around on break, and I just like said it again in a very like annoyed way. I go, how on earth do you think you're beating this spot that I'm giving you? Like, how do you think you're that good at PLO? I know I'm not that good, like, but like, there's just no way. And he goes, you give me 15 and we'll stay Hold'em. And I'm like, man, I'm getting fucking raked over the coals here for sure. But like,
He knew he could get that extra 3,500 out of you. Why would he? Of course.
I mean, like,
You're my bottom line. It's never your bottom line. It's never the final offer.
I didn't want to negotiate.
Of course not.
I
Shouldn't
knew
it just be top line?
Right.
Right? If it was bottom line,
probably.
that's like, you can go up.
Yeah, right.
I'm just,
right.
just want to put that up there.
Yeah,
We know what he
probably.
meant.
Well,
Final offer. What? You're. Yeah. No negotiating. That's
I didn't want to
it.
negotiate when I was already
Right.
taking the worst of it.
Right.
So I put a poll out yesterday, and I said, for anybody who doesn't know,
And then you negotiated.
I offered Blez 15K to change the final 3 hours of play from PLO to Hold'em. Who do you think got the best of this? And it's basically just like dead even, but like mathematically, I think I had to have taken the worst of this.
Yeah, you would think.
So doing quick guerrilla math, I paid him 15K for 3 hours. It's 5K an hour. It basically works out to roughly $100 a hand. So I'm basically paying him a quarter of a blind every hand. One blind every 4 hands. 25 blinds per 100. Does that work itself out?
Yes.
Okay.
You pay a quarter of a blind.
Okay. So yeah, I'm paying him 25 hands. 25 big blinds per 100 hands.
I paid 9.
In order, right. But I'm losing in PLO. I'm for sure losing in PLO. Right? So I'm recouping some of that now. Let's say I'm losing 9 big blinds per 100 in PLO. Now I'm only paying him 16 bigs to switch. But I guess
I think he still gets you. 16 bigs is a lot.
16 bigs is a lot.
If that's the delta.
But he probably could be losing 10. And if he's tilted, he might be.
Yeah, that's different.
You're also very deep, which makes it
Right.
like
The win rates are you could definitely be
compensates for
winning
that,
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think I'm beating him for 16 big blinds per 100, but
It's not like you're playing 100 big blind poker. Like that would
Correct.
be you'd be getting just killed at that point.
oh, it'd be dead.
Right.
I mean, if
you
you
couldn't
don't-
make this offer.
No,
at 100
right.
big blinds.
if you don't think you're beating 16, he gets the best of it. But this is also a one-off spot, and he was mad. That's that.
I basically factored in that
The tilt factor.
when tilted, I don't think I'm beating Jared for
always
16.
put the tilt factor.
I want to be clear. I don't think I'm beating Jared for 16 big blinds per 100, like in a vacuum. But under certain conditions, I certainly think he is capable of being a 16 big blind per 100 loser.
Yeah.
You don't beat him. He beats himself
Well, I have to do some of the heavy lifting. But yeah,
with Queen 10.
yeah, that started it. I definitely started it.
That was definitely something.
I think what sent him over the edge, like when he went dark behind the eyes, was when I got aces and we ended up playing a 4-bet pot where he 3-bet 9s, I 4-bet aces with the ace of hearts. I think we have the clip.
The first hand of the session.
Aces?
You wouldn't believe what I had there.
I would believe anything. The way the hand played.
Not that Berkey would have folded if he check called the turn, but again, the fact that he took that unconventional lead, I think makes it a little more difficult to get away. And look at this, Ali. 3-bet from Jared with the 9s, and Berkey has the goods.
Sure does.
Now we've seen some 4-bets light, but here, loaded for bear, I thought perhaps he would take his chances with a flat, especially given this kind of Jared 2.0 speedy.
Yeah, but they are still quite deep.
And by the way, Jared has a real hand this time, unlike most of the occasions on which he was 3-betting.
Right. So I think clear flat from Jared here. 300 big blinds deep. Not the easiest of hands to play out of position in a 4-bet pot, but simply too good to fold.
He agrees, understandably. 32 plus in the middle pre, no 9 on board, and a lovely texture for aces with the ace of hearts. King 8 deuce. 1 overcard to the 9s, switch check.
Check.
Berkey.
Berkey continuing to do some unusual things. Wow.
This is the absolute pin pull in a grenade on the turn, where somehow Jared finds a set, leads for 15,000, sub half pot. Berkey can't go anywhere with that ace of hearts working, and
He certainly can't, but I don't think he's going to think too much of a reason to raise here. Doesn't really want to get all the chips in. Hand's not vulnerable. He's got the heart draw. I think he wants to just call here. Though there could be some merit to raising. Trying to get some immediate value off of Jared's King X. Perhaps depends a bit what he reads into this sizing.
so the flat leaves Berkey hunting the ace or a heart. Instead, the board pairs with a deuce, not a card that he's worried about at all.
Yeah, I think that's about one of the worst cards Berkey could see here.
Agreed.
He's
Beats
now
8,
pulled
9.
ahead of all the 2 pairs. Yeah, all the King 9, King 8, 8, 9. If Jared has any of those hands of the suited variety. You know, if Jared were to bet small here, Matt would actually be thinking about value raising.
Well, let's see. It does look like a size that could potentially get raised. We're in 1/3 pot turf.
Yeah, this is right around the threshold, I think. I think if Jared had come with something like 14 to 16,000, we'd see a raise. Maybe we still see it here versus 22K.
How much King X are we up against, and how often do we feel as though the raise could get paid?
Right. That's the key. Is Berkey has to think not only that he has the best hand a good chunk of the time, but that Jared has enough hands that can call the raise. This is a legitimate decision. There shouldn't be much deuce X in Jared's range. Flushes, of course, loom as well as the 9s and 8s full, but the sizing's certainly more indicative of something like King Jack of diamonds, King Jack of spades. And I think a fairly well-designed size from Jared, leaving a little bit of that rope for Berkey to potentially find a bluff raise or a thinner value raise. Question here is sizing too as Berkey. It's a little bit awkward. Do you just go for all of it? That kind of feels like you're putting in a lot of money with these 2 aces.
I had every intention of jamming river. I just don't think you call worse.
I was trying to get you to jam.
Yeah.
How good do you play?
I just don't think you call worse ever.
God, how good are you? Wow, that's, oh my God. How good are you at poker?
I let you peel off a 2-outer. Not that good.
Is he being sincere or is he
not
trolling
falling
right now?
apart.
What's he doing?
He's being serious.
All right, that's what
I'm
I.
not.
A little bit of A, a
You
little
play
bit of B.
so good. How do you not? How do you?
That was a
not-
Jared special. Anybody else?
I
I'm all in.
I know. How good are you? Wow, that's so tempting.
He's such an idiot.
Huh?
You're just never paying.
He's
with
great
Queen
for
there.
TV, man.
He really is.
He's
He's
fucking
the best. Yeah, man. Like in 2 days of playing him, he just like never fucking pays off. And especially in a 4-bet pot where it's like, sure, I'll have bluffs appropriately, and you know what? They're gonna get through.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he, first of all,
Well, what do you think they are? I guess.
my bluffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the low frequency hands that I use to get here. So like if I ever have like Queen Jack in range, like Jack 10 type of hands, and then like 9-10 suited would be a good one. I think you want to have that set block. I don't think like if you have 9-10 of spades, probably not a hand you can call down with.
I just don't know how much that checks back flop for you.
Very, very low.
For you, like when you're in that spot and you have 10 high, you probably just bet. It's hard not to bet.
What was the flop? It was king what?
King 8
deuce.
deuce.
King 8 deuce.
2 hearts.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like the flop check back is kind of
That's-
spooky.
That's pretty
Not
fair.
in a bad, not in like a bad way. It's just like hard to think about because if you have like Ace of Hearts Jack, it's also easy to just like go quarter.
Uh-huh.
You have Ace of Hearts Jack, right?
Yeah.
So the check back is like whoa, like
Yeah, you're right.
there's
I
alarm
mean,
bells. for
no,
sure.
you're 100% right. Like theory's a little bit out the window here. Like I would just play range bet against somebody who's more technically sound, but like against Jared, a lot of my checkbacks here are going to be protected. So it's going to be like a hand like I have, maybe some ace king with a heart, queens, jacks, tens. I'm going to play a lot of check back with those because he's, too clicky with like, 2.5xing over top of a quarter pot. And when you're at this low of an SPR, that's like a nightmare. So yeah, I think, maybe that's more, it would have to come from like, I wouldn't have the luxury of blocking sets. I would have to just like pull from like tens and jacks with a heart.
You might win enough with those. So like it's just kind of like one of those spots.
Right.
Like you need like Ace of Hearts Jack that you
Well,
check
the thing,
back.
no, but the thing is like you're right. I might win enough versus his line where I could just pay those hands. But the thing is that if he's also folding a king versus jam, you're just better served jamming because it's like all the hands that you beat fold anyway, and you're on top of that getting better to fold.
Yeah, if you
So
think
like playing
he's
call
folding
just
king,
sucks.
queen too much. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, precisely. But here's the other thing: like in 2 days, Jared never 3-bet king queen off once. In 2 days, he flatted ace king to a single open 3 times. He flatted ace queen off to a single open from the big blind once. He notoriously flatted like ace jack and ace 10. So he doesn't have a lot of the targets that you're aiming to get value from. And that becomes another big part of the issue, right? Like when I have 2 aces with the ace of hearts, he just doesn't like have ace king.
Yeah, not very often.
And he is the type that might not go broke with kings pre in a spot like this because he's very PLO minded, and that's truly the way that he plays heads up hold'em. Like that's why he's frustrating to play against because he doesn't pay, but he loves to attack what he views as weakness or capness because that's how you win in PLO. The second that you identify in PLO that a range lacks the nuts, you just pot, right? You just put them to the test and you force them to bluff catch with mid-range and, you put them through the ringer. But if you try to do the same thing in no limit hold'em when both players are playing deck, you just have infinite bluff catchers as the defender. You're never really as capped as presented, and it's much more difficult to reach polarization early in hands. So it's like when you look at it through that lens of kind of understanding that Jared is PLO brained, it becomes really challenging to figure out how you're actually going to get stacks in here with aces. And for what it's worth, like Alex did a great job in the booth, but his not playing a lot of heads up hold'em kind of shined through. His threshold for where value starts and ends was way too high. Like, you're just on that board in a 4-bet pot. There's no run out, I don't think, barring a 4-liner where you're not trying to get it all in with aces. Maybe I guess if it comes even if it comes running 9-10 and it's king 10 9-8, you're still probably pretty happy to just like play for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on the line. Like if it's king 8 deuce and you see bet flop, you just fold queen jack.
Right.
So it's like a straight even there or whatever. Yeah. So like it's 2 cards versus 2 cards. It's not 4 cards versus 4 cards.
Right. Everything that happened in this hand was me trying to manipulate a way to be all in with aces that would allow Jared to actually potentially stack off either under his own accord, where he's the one who just yeets it.
Like ravages it all.
Yeah, because he has 9-10 instead of 9s. Or, I catch him at top of range anyway, and we just get it in over the next 2 streets instead of flop, turn, and river for small. Right? Because I think 3E in this spot was like 40% pot. Yeah. Which would have been an easy pot construction to just go 40. As played on turn, I was tanking for a long time because raise was very viable. And like when I ran this, if you do play with a check back on, like you could simplify to range bet. Pretty much everything bets at a high frequency, but you do have some checks. You have like the queen 7 of clubs that plays check back some of the time. Stuff like that. I think it was like 83% C bet, 17% check. Aces with the ace of hearts is one of the candidates that will protect that range. It does check back 15% of the time or so. And if you choose to not play the simple strategy and actually have checkbacks, then yeah, you play a fuck ton of raises. It's almost a pure raise on the turn.
Matt, was this a 4-bet pot or 5-bet pot?
4-bet.
Okay. Queen 7 suited's in there, huh?
Oh yeah, baby.
Okay.
You gotta be bluffing with some shit. You gotta start with 95% of hands.
You 4-bet the 7-4 diamonds.
And they which
good.
was correct.
It was good.
Wow.
Found it.
You got to be unpredictable. You got to have aces. You got to have 7-4 diamonds.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta be
That's
in.
balance.
That's balance, baby. Yeah, but like the spot's very interesting because it looks very stupid to the casual viewer. It looks like I'm playing my hand defensively, which was not meant to be the case. I was trapping on the flop. I was trapping on the turn. And then by river, I realized that like with this run out, I just cannot get called by worse. Like the real problem was when the deuce ripped off on the river, I go, that's a great card. I've counterfeit king 9, king 8, 9, 9, 8, etc. But those hands will try to check. So I'm already planning in my head. I go, I'm going to go small when he checks to me because I'm going to need him to find the jam with 9, 8. He won't pay. I know he won't pay.
He just has the full house blocker, so he jams, it turns into
I just like know he won't pay 9, 8. And he may not pay like king 9 or king 8 often enough for stacks. Like I can't jam for pot and a half. So I'm just going to bet like I'm going to reopen for like third pot. And I need him to find those bluff jams with the set blocks. And then he leads for like quarter pot or third pot himself. And I'm like, okay, well, it's none of those hands. Mm-hmm. It's literally none of those hands.
Right.
Like this is a full house, a flush, or
something that won't pay
or
your
like,
jam.
Or like king X that will just never pay my jam. So it's like, yeah, maybe he has king 9 suited here some of the time. Maybe he has king 8 suited some of the time. Probably not. Maybe, I don't know. I think the likelihood that I jam and get called by worse is probably lower than the likelihood of him showing up with a deuce in this particular spot, which should like, be a 0%er. But
yeah, who knows?
I mean, yeah, if he has ace deuce suited, he's just not gonna fold. Might not lead the turn though. I don't know. It was an interesting hand. It was definitely a turning point in the match. I think his immediate reaction was very genuine. He was very over it. And then like a handful of hands later, he does this. I think we have another quick clip.
You're better than him. What do they call him? What's his nickname? Freestyler? Yeah, I'll take you over him.
I still want to figure out who Senor Tilt is
Yeah.
from yesterday.
Right.
15.
couple big hands here.
Very pretty 10-9 suited. Greeted by an extra 4K out of ace queen.
What was that whole dog and pony?
4-bet to 16-5. Berkey thrown off a little bit.
That was entertaining.
Is fold ever on Berkey's mind? No, right?
I don't think so. Call feels most natural, but it looks like he is deciding to 4-bet it. 5-bet it, rather, yeah.
And we have not seen this
No.
across 2 days, I believe.
And you gotta be kind of regretting your decision to 4-bet now when you're Jared. Such a beautiful playable hand in position, and now you're faced with a $40,000 wager.
And look at how intently Blesnik is looking over at Berkey as he glances back at his stack.
23-5 to him. Yes, they're deep, but are they deep enough to want to see a flop here with the SPR under 2?
Yeah.
Jared says yes.
Wow. And I don't know how much 10-9 this flat is going to leave Berkey assigning Blesnik as they both whiff on this 8-3-3 board. A better one for Berkey, given the lack of a heart. And he's got the lead.
Yesterday, would you have ever thought that Jared would put 100 big blinds in pre-flop with this hand?
Absolutely not. $80K pot pre-flop. First 5-bet. Now, a check out of Berkey isn't an immediate sign of resignation, in particular on this texture.
It's tough for me to gauge.
No, but I think
This is 100. Okay.
given the ranges both players are representing here,
140 plus black.
Berkey probably wants to bet small with most of his holdings here. He's really repping very strong hands for value, and then when he does have his bluffs or his sort of, I mean, this is effectively a bluff. When he has hands like this, he wants to also be consistent and bet small.
You know, the thing is, that small bet will leave Jared, especially in position, interacting with that 8, in spite of the lack of a heart, compelled to tear one off, having already invested 40,000, provided that is the sizing that Berkey comes with.
Yeah, I think anything, okay, and he does check.
Just checks. And again, I revisit the fact that Berkey does not have to not be strong.
And we've seen him play his strongest value hands in some passive lines, so.
Guess I could have also expressed that as he doesn't have to be weak.
Right.
So I went with the double negative. Let's see how Jared reacts. Flatting a 5-bet, obviously
38.
does contain a reasonable number of hands.
And he goes for a big bet here. Notice he says 38. Sometimes I've seen in tournaments people are held to a 3,800 chip bet there because they don't specify one of those weird poker.
I mean, that would be such an
angly rules things.
unnatural sizing.
Not
but
going to get called out here.
Yeah.
And
No doubt.
something to be careful with if you do play those tournaments.
By the way, you don't look like you have a very strong hand if you're Berkey and you hold Jared to a $3,800
Right.
bet. Unless, of course, for some reason you get crazy and then check raise it to 38,000.
Yeah. And this is just a very unusual sizing from Jared betting this big in a 4-bet pot.
Oh, wow. He checked jams, and Blesnik pummeled there.
That was a Blez special also. That was a
You value check.
I did. I truly did. Like
Again, a hand
these
that
are the
you
kind of
normally would
hands
just
that
call the
like
3-bet with, elected
will
to 4-bet,
never
faced the
make
thin
sense to
value
anybody
slash
who's
kind
like
of
watching.
mergy
But like to give you an idea, I'm supposed to range bet that board for quarter, right? If I force check where I'm just like range checking instead, how often do you think Jared is free to bet 8-3-3?
I mean, not very often. You were supposed to bet and you didn't. So he should not bet.
Never.
Yeah.
Literally never. He has to pure check. And what I know about Jared is that he's going to fight for a pot.
Mm-hmm.
So like my
He
line
just
of
whiffs so often on that board.
Exactly. Is that my line of thinking is that like he just won't have the discipline to check unless he has a hand that he's afraid of getting check jammed on.
Mm-hmm.
So if he has 9s here, he might check. And that's really fucking great for ace queen, because if when I face a bet, I have the best hand, but when I face a check, I now am basically like against his mid range and drawing. Like now I actually have the availability to potentially bluff the next 2 streets or improve or just like check slam it for a way too big. Like he's only supposed to open for quarter and he goes half.
Yeah.
So now I just get like all this additional money in a spot where I'm just counting on him being tilted enough to not have discipline. So maybe that 16 big blinds per 100 it's on the table.
What did you think
That's a
about
big fucking error.
What did you think about the dog and pony show?
What
What were your thoughts in game when he does like this weird actions?
That
and
he
then
had a hand that he was not sure if it was supposed to 4-bet or not. And I was dead fucking right.
I bet.
Yeah. I wouldn't
No, he
usually
4-bet. Berkey 5-bet.
Yeah.
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 I wouldn't usually 5-bet ace queen there, but with the way the game was flowing,
Seemed fine.
I would have stacked off. Like if you 5-bet you're supposed to fold, I would have called off.
Yeah.
For 400
For
big
way
blinds.
too much money.
For 400 big blinds. But like that's Bobby's room in a nutshell. This is literally my game encapsulated in a single moment. This is exactly how I play poker on the regular. You find the people who are on the edge of the cliff and you fucking push them over. And you do it with hands that you're not supposed to do it with, and you get in the fucking mix, and you know sometimes you play an 800 big blind pot with ace queen high where you're just goddamn good.
We're good.
It's a parking lot hand.
Very good.
Sometimes you go to the parking lot with your riches.
Sometimes.
4-bet to 16-5.
I had so much fun during this match. I can't explain it.
It was worth the $15K.
I even had a lot of fun. I think I was talking to Emma about it. I was like, I had a lot of fun on day 1 when we basically broke even and I played a game I don't enjoy in PLO. And I have to tell you, I really do not enjoy PLO. Like I could never find that same spot in PLO.
Well, equities always run too close.
But that makes it easier to find the spot, or it should.
I think I already know the answer to this, Matt, but
Yep.
do you prefer playing heads up against someone like Blaz whose company you enjoy, or against someone who you despise, like when you played against Nick?
I don't think I have a big preference, but I will say that I have a very strong preference for the opponent type that I enjoy playing against. And it's somebody who's much like myself, not very refined. I think you could give me a very weak opponent that is very like that he's a tactician, and I would either lose strictly based off of him executing better or based off of me tilting because I can't see where the holes are.
Okay.
But people that are freestyling, like I think Blez is miles ahead of me in PLO. But it was also very clear that he was freestyling. And just through observation, I can find some patterns and trends where I think I can recoup some win rate, right? And that's why I was willing to play a game that, like, he's a basic master, like, you know, for all intent and purposes, he's a master of, and I'm a complete noob in. But, like, the heads-up structure kind of levels things a bit, and when both players are not very technically sound, you're able to find these nooks and crannies where you can claw out a lot of win rate. And I think that ace queen is like a great example of that. Now, I don't think I could find anything remotely close to that in PLO. In PLO, I imagine it would be like 5-betting, you know, single suited kings with no ace block, and then finding a check jam on like an 8-high board, which for 400 big blinds, I'm just never going to do any of those things. Even if I think Blez is getting out of line with his 4-bets, I'm not going to find the 5-bet with king, king, 7, 8, 1 suit. You know, it's just not a thing. And it's too dangerous.
So you probably shouldn't do that, right?
It's probably not even a thing with like ace, king, king, one suit.
I
But
just like need aces, right? Like that's just how the game works. Like, you
Yeah.
have 4 cards.
yeah, or like maybe something really. I
Or
truly
like
don't
a
know.
5, 6, 7, 8 kind of thing.
No. You would. I don't think you would ever 5-bet rundowns.
Okay.
I think you're right. The 5-bet range is like very dense to aces, and then ace X. I think it actually ends up being like, I don't know this for sure, but I imagine if you had a hand like ace 8, 7, 6 double suit, that potentially might get in there. But it doesn't matter. Point is like,
Seems like a good hand, yeah.
yeah.
It's weird.
Point is like when you think someone's fucking around too much, you find additional value in hands that aren't supposed to do the thing. And I think a hand like ace, king, king, X single suit would be a good example of that. I just wouldn't do it ever because it's straying way too far off the beaten path. And I need to stay on the beaten path because I don't know the game, right? Like I don't know the pockets and the nooks and crannies where you're able to find a little bit of gamble. But I feel like I have a pretty astute understanding of no limit where it's like when it comes 8-3-3, I'm no longer looking to play a 3-street game. I'm looking to maximize against the mistake portion of his range. And so I'm checking a pure range bet spot in order to induce too large of a bet that's just crying to win the pot now and then jam over top of that. And like that's manufacturing a lot of bottom line that you're not going to find in a solve and you're not going to find in any theory books because this is literally just, playing a man's tendencies at that point. It's kind of like MDA.
Yeah, like a solve or check back.
Right. Like if you know check is responded with stab, then you range check. Right?
Right. If you know he's going to bet.
Or you check all of your good hands and bet all of your bad hands, Or
Sure,
you do something very imbalanced is the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can go as far as you want.
Right. And you try to take advantage of those inconsistencies. So I had a fucking blast. Like it was a lot of brain solving. There was a lot of just thinking over and over again, which was very fun. And now we're to the point where I guess I have to defend this fucking thing.
That's right. After every fight, Joe Rogan goes in there and says, "Who do you want next?"
Bro, I didn't even realize like what I was signing up for. Truly, like I don't want the smoke. I don't want to play heads
you gotta
up.
Call someone out, Matt. Come on.
Airball, if you're listening, now's your chance, buddy. Like if you want to get us streamed on heads up, Feldman maybe. Feldman would be a great Vertucci. Where's Tooch?
Yeah, that's not.
Hey,
gonna happen.
Tooch. You want to get out of retirement, dust off that old bag of balls you got laying around, fucking DMing girls about their peaches and cream.
I thought it was oranges.
Whatever, oranges. Whatever the fuck it was. Where's he at? Like,
I mean, you got a lot of enemies, Berk. You think you could find one to sit down with you?
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know how many of them are good or bad at PLO. I just want someone in there that is willing to mix it up and gamble the way that I am. But like, yeah, whatever. I don't know how this thing works out as far as like competitors go. I'm sure that like I told Blez this in the lobby. I was like, I'm sure there will be a line from here to fucking Mesquite of high level pros that want to play me heads up. But I think I get the option to like decline. So I think I can exit the arena and just walk away champion. If Kuhn shows up, not gonna play Jason Kuhn for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No. They meant Rob Kuhn.
Doesn't really interest me. Rob would be fun. He's way more studied in heads up than I am. He's very tactical. I think it would be a little bit of bloodshed, probably not a lot, and a lot of just like chumming it up and very bad viewer experience if it was Rob and I, to be quite honest.
I mean, the airball version 2 would be pretty great.
That would be amazing.
I mean, it would be pretty good.
I agree. Bring on airball. You know what? I would maybe consider playing half
with airball
for airball.
Okay.
Just for that bag of air. It would be good TV.
It'd be great.
He wouldn't shut the fuck up. That's for
great.
sure. Although maybe he would. We didn't say a peep to each other for days.
Yeah, that
weeks.
I
Months.
thought you said he was pretty
no
cordial
cameras,
afterwards.
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he shook my hand. He was fine. He's disappeared. Oh, you know what? I don't know if this is public or not, but I don't think he can play at Go.
Oh.
I don't think he can play at MGM Properties. if I'm not mistaken.
Hold on a second. Let me put up my asset here.
Yeah, it's alleged, but I haven't seen him. Let's put it that way. He might have vanished.
Allegedly ostrich.
Yes.
Allegedly, he's been alleged.
Airball emu. And Burke.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's next. I'm looking forward to getting the belt. Can't wait to put it on set.
Yes.
There's no shot you ever
excited
play a
for
sit
that.
and go or anything.
No,
like that.
no fucking shot. No,
Cash
you
games.
roll music.
The music just stops.
Sorry,
Like
it was
no
just
shot.
wait,
no
what?
shot.
Loud. Sorry.
No
Like
shot.
the record scratch.
Absolutely not.
So you're only playing somebody in some cash game format where a belt will just be given to someone.
Yeah, we have to be like millions and millions and millions of big blinds deep.
So you get to keep the belt. And if you lost the next one,
Yeah.
they would just get a different belt.
Yeah, they give.
You don't have to give up your replica belt.
I don't have to give up my belt. Thank God. My first and only ever poker trophy.
I'm gonna die with this
We
belt.
gotta get
Fucking
that belt
did
in
it,
here. I want
team.
to see that
We
thing.
did it, team. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you think I took the best of it or the worst of it in paying Blez $15,000 in order to continue to play No Limit Hold'em. Let us know who my next competitor should be in the comments below. That's going to do it for us today. We're going to be back again tomorrow, noon Pacific. As always, going to try to get Platt and Hanks in here for the final Weekend Warrior. I'm not holding my breath, but fingers crossed.
I think you got to play Rampage and Heads Up Squid.
I am
Oh,
in.
God.
Let's go.
You
am
versus Rampage and Heads Up Squid.
I'm in for Heads Up Squid versus Rampage. Let's fucking do it, baby. You heard it here first. The call-out's been
It's
been
like the
made.
multiplier, you know, like you just win
Yeah.
10 hands in a row.
I actually thought about this. I thought about offering that to Blez, Heads Up Squid. But then I thought he would make me do it in PLO, and I was like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's a bad proposition. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys, as always, for joining
Get
us.
the
We'll see
ostrich
you
up
guys
there,
then.
too. Get the ostrich up there.
The ostrich up.
Close the fucking
I'll
show.
put the allegedly up. Why not?
Where is it? Get it on there.
Stop.
There
Thanks
it
for,
is.
There you
thanks
go.
for stopping in, fam.
Yay.
Peace.
Peace.